Today, we answer the age-old question of how do I make money from the stage? Many of you are very, very focused, and I know this because I hear from a lot of you, on how do I get an organizer to pay me $5, $10, $15, $20,000 to show up and speak? That's a good question. It is a good question. But a better question is, how do I make the money regardless of who's paying me? I just want to make this money. That's a better question. And today we get to answer that question with one of the most amazing people I've ever met, whose name is Nikki Nash. Nikki Nash is a Hay House author, motivational speaker, podcast host, and a client enrollment expert. She's been referred to as a marketing genius by her clients and peers, and she uses her 15 plus years of experience to help service-based businesses attract and retain their dream clients. Plus, she has some, we'll call them queen maker or kingmaker strategies that can truly help you not just become a speaker, but be a successful, fully paid speaker. If this is you and you would like to know how to make money from the stage, then I encourage you to listen in because this episode is made just for you, baby. All right, let's go.
Welcome to the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. If you're looking for actionable ways to overcome communication and differentiation challenges by sharing radically authentic stories, you are in the right place. Listen in and learn how to stand in the power of your unique narrative to transform your personal life, business, and workplace culture. And now, your host, award-winning international speaker, strategic storytelling consultant, and Japanese whiskey lover, Ruby Coral's mom, Alea Harris.
Hey, Nikki, thank you so much for joining us here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you so much for having me.
I am excited to have you because we get to talk about something that a lot of speakers truthfully don't care about, even though they absolutely should. Everybody and their mama is focused on getting on the stage and getting paid $1 bazillion. But the real speakers, the good ones, the ones that actually get on stage and the ones that actually get paid $1 bazillion are focused on what happens after the stage performance, as I like to call it, ends, and what action people take because of them. But a lot of people don't know how to actually make that happen. They're like, okay, I'm off stage and now you're on your own, kid. So what would you say to someone, a budding speaker, who asks you the question, how do I get people to take action after my talk?
Yeah, I think the main thing is prep. And there are specific things that I mean by that. But so often people think, oh, I'm just going to deliver some amazing value. And then people are going to go buy my thing or come talk to me or whatever. And everything needs to be pre-thought out, strategic, because a lot of people, and I've done this, I've literally delivered like a talk where people went, oh my God, that was amazing. You're amazing. I learned so much. And then they're just like talking about my talk. But I didn't monetize it at the end because I didn't sit down and ask myself some very specific questions that will lead to you making money on the back end. Because so often people, to your point earlier, are like, ooh, speaker, I want to be paid to speak. I want to be paid like $5, $10, $15, $20, $100,000 to speak. Even the people who make the most money speaking on the front end, they likely are making way more money on the back end because they've monetized the heck out of that. So when it comes to the prep, you really need to ask yourself, right? Like, who is going to be in this room? Like, ask the person who's running the event, the conference, the mastermind, the whatever, who the heck is going to be in the room? And really get to know those people. What are they dealing with? Why are they putting on this event in the first place? What are the common challenges that people have? And put yourself in their shoes and go, okay, well, how can I make sure that throughout this entire presentation or talk, they're literally sitting there going, yeah, like that's me. I'm struggling with that. I resonate with you. Like they're just saying yes in their mind a billion times, regardless of what they're saying yes to. Like, yes, I've been there. Yes, that's what I want in the future. Yes, I resonate with you. But you have them really thinking, like, heck yeah, I'm on board with whatever the heck comes out of your mouth. So that when you get to a call to action that should align with what it is that you're speaking about, what you're selling, and what people really want, when all of that is aligned, by the time you get to your call to action, people are like, I'm in, right? Or they're standing in a line trying to speak to you. But you have to plan that out in advance. And really, it starts with who the heck are these people and what are they dealing with, and really getting in their shoes.
Okay, it's time for an example. This is making me really excited because people don't normally talk about this. So I'm wagging my tail, but I'm trying to keep my voice calm and steady because this is very, very cool. Give me an example, either from your talk or one that you've seen, that walks us through this prep experience into in the room and then what happens after.
Yeah. So I'll do this, and this will help folks whether you're speaking literally in a room, personally, virtually, on a podcast. Like, there's so many, the way speaking is defined today has dramatically expanded from when I got on my first stage. I don't even want to count how many years ago, because it's been over a decade, but
Like
like a really
you,
long,
because you're like 22 years old, right?
100%.
Kim. Ah, darling.
I thanks, love. I was born in the early '80s, but but I have people carding me still, and I love it. I'm like, yes, please take my ID. Please
Oh, I
think I'm
throw it at them. I'm like, "You wanna
yeah,
card me? Oh, God bless you. I'll take another glass of wine at this point in
right.
time."
I was This is off topic, but just real quick. I was walking into a bar in St. Pete when I think I still lived there. And I went with friends, and I forgot my ID that day, but we went to a concert and then went straight to a bar. And one of my friends was like, "Oh, you're going to want to card her, she's underage," as a joke. Knowing I forgot my ID, thinking though that they'll be like, no, no. Got homeboy looked at me and was like, yeah, I believe that you could be underage, and then wouldn't let me in. Luckily, I found in my email when I had to email identification somewhere. And I was like, here's a picture of my driver's license. I promise you,
Oh my
I'm old enough to drink by like like 2 decades over the drinking
over
age.
the
Please
drinking age.
let me in.
Let me in.
I didn't even want to drink. I was like, I'm not even in the
I just wanna hang out with my friends. Thank you so much.
Don't kick me out.
Don't kick me out. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
But
so
the
side note. I
side
hope
note,
everybody took notes
that
on that.
was a side quest. We're getting back
Side
on our main quest, and our main quest was you giving us an example.
Yes. So I'll give an example with like things that I'm doing right now because my career has pivoted a little bit, right? So one of the things that I primarily speak to folks about right now is how do you create um massive amounts of money in pursuit of a big cause, right? Or more specifically, because some people then take that as fundraising, but I'm like, no, like, how do you specifically increase your wealth position so that your net worth is higher, your connections are higher, things like that, so that you can be in the rooms and make big change, right? So that's kind of
Okay,
the
well, let's
broad
pause there.
strokes.
We're gonna clearly need to bring you back to talk about why didn't you lead with that was the
Yeah,
topic you wanted to talk about? Because I don't care what this season's topic is. If I put out a podcast episode that's like, "This woman knows how to get you massive amounts of wealth," this would be the top podcast episode of all time. Next time, Nikki, Imma need you to not
that's
be the lead. Thank
I'm sorry, love. I was like, I wanted to stay within the guidelines of your series. I'm like, all right, I can talk about speaking. I got you, girl. So I'll
Well, the
drop
next question I'm gonna have after this example is how speakers get massive amounts of wealth, but you continue.
So one of the things that I would do in like the prep phase is I'd go, typically my clients are women. I don't only speak with women, but that tends to be the bulk. So I ask myself, okay, well, what are the common challenges that women have when it comes to wealth? And a lot of times it's not all women, but this was certainly the case for me and a lot. We're such givers and wanting to be of value and to help folks and things like that, that we're just kind of like, the money will come. And like, we just don't focus on it. But one of my mentors early on told me, like, what you focus on grows essentially. And so if you're not focused on making money, or increasing your wealth position, then it's not going to increase no matter how much magic you're bringing out into the world, right? And so one of the things that I do is I start with, okay, what are all the things that I know are going to be the blocks for like my person from having what they want, which is not just creating generational wealth for their family and legacy, but for like, hey, they want to change. There's a cause. There's something that they're probably passionate about, right? So I get all up in their head. I'm like, let me just mind map all the things, like what's going on in their brain. And then I start asking myself, okay, well, what do they need to hear? What do they need to maybe see? And what do they need to believe in order to say, you know what? I'm ready to today take action because I want help. Because the big thing, and like people write this down if you're listening, people will always buy what they want. They don't always buy what they need. Like, how many people do you know need something, but they buy something else because they want it more, because they want it, right? So you have to connect with what people want. So many times I speak with women and they're like, but these people need me. I'm like, that's great. If they don't want you, it doesn't matter. They're not going to invest in you.
Doesn't matter.
Right?
People need to not eat all that chocolate cake.
Right.
However,
But they want it.
They want it. So there's that. And by people, I mean me. I am people.
You're like, true story talking about myself. What?
However, I have been on my lovely semi-glutide injection journey and have lost 25 pounds.
Congratulations, love.
Oh, thank you so much. I had to get it's part of my journey of getting my pink back. Like, have you heard, like, when flamingos have babies, they lose all their pink because their children literally suck them dry.
Suck them dry.
Suck them dry. My daughter's 2. So I'm in the process of getting my pink back. And that has been part of it. It's like looking in the mirror and being like, you sexy. You sexy. So yes, do continue with this example, which is taking so many side quests. This is why I normally mute myself, but then I unmute myself and stuff like this happens. Do continue.
I mean, I feel like personally, it's a much more interesting conversation to listen to if we go rogue every now and then. You don't know where we're going.
I don't know where we're going, so how could anybody else? There's that. There's that.
I love it. But yeah, like you have to really get connected to, again, what people need to know, believe, see in order to say, yes, I want to take action. And so that's usually my prep work is I'm like, let me get inside this person's head. What are they dealing with? What are they thinking? What are they already believing? What are they seeing out in the world? This is like an abbreviated version of what's called an empathy map. If for my marketers out there, there's something called an empathy map. You can Google it. It's been around in marketing for like a gajillion years. That's probably an exaggeration, but for a long time, definitely well over a decade. So that's something that you can do, Google, and just do that for your people, like the folks that are going to be likely in the room, or if it's a mixed room, the people you at least want to speak to and connect with, right? So that's part one. And then from there, I would start going, okay, that's the pre-work. What is the ultimate thing that I want to happen at the end? Like I like to visualize or journal about and paint a picture of like, what does success look like here? Right. And get really clear on that because if you have to, it's like GPS. If I can't, GPS won't take me anywhere until I tell it where I want to go. Exactly. Right. Like where I want to go. Yeah.
Sorry. So, I was on that too.
I'm reading lips. People are like, why is she saying exactly? I'm like, exactly. I'm reading lips.
I just agree with myself. My name's Nikki. I talk in the third person. Yeah.
I'm dropping the mic right now. Bye, guys.
Boom. Oh my God. That so reminds me. My husband, who's going to be mortified that I'm telling you this story. When I first met him, he was a different man. This is over 10 years ago. And he was telling me, we were in the In-N-Out drive-thru on one of our first, I don't even know if you can call it a date, but we were in the In-N-Out drive-thru. And he was giving me some advice on something that was totally basic. And I was just going, And he looked at me and he goes, what? I'm dropping brain gems at you. This is pure gold. And I busted up laughing, thinking he was joking. He was not joking. He was dead serious. And to this day, we laugh about how ridiculous this man was, that he dropped his own mic on himself or something.
On himself.
Not mic drop worthy at all. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but it was nothing. It made me giggle. So yes, I'm used to being in this type of situation. So if you had dropped your mic on yourself, that would have been okay.
And I was legit joking, but I love that I love this story. I love so much about it.
Yeah, I married him anyway, so there we
Yeah.
go.
It didn't ruin things, so.
Didn't ruin things. Didn't ruin things. Plus he makes some cute babies. So, did we get the full perspective of what you wanted to do with that example?
That is a great question. It would be helpful if I remembered what my example was.
Hmm.
But mind map, GPS. That's where I was going. GPS. So, like, do something where you are whether writing down what success looks like, but like in a detailed picture, like from the day, like, oh my gosh, when I got off of stage, everybody stood and applauded. Then I walked to the back of the room where I had a table, and there was a line around the room of people that wanted to sign up for my program. Or like during my talk, I got an extra 100 followers on Instagram, and 50 of them DM'd me saying, "How do I work with you?" Whatever it is, I don't care. But like come up with something clear and write that stuff down, because then you can go, okay, well, what does my talk need to deliver in order to have that result? Like, how do I get from where I am right now, pre-talk, to that result? Because your talk needs to have like clear triggers where people go, oh my gosh, I want help. And here's the example here's one of the ones that I do when I'm doing mine around like advising people on increasing their wealth position and things like that. And I learned this from my mentor. Like I don't even know if I told the random story of how I got a mentor that's made like billions of dollars in business. And he's just like the kindest person ever and is constantly like, how do we give back to the world? I'm like, you exist? It's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So if he's working on any other mentees, if he needs any more, I'm available.
You know, you're like, my calendar is open.
My calendar is open to be mentored by any billionaires who'd like to give me their life secrets.
Yeah, just share the secrets. I love it. We'll discuss.
Okay.
But literally, he's like, here's what you say. He's like, and this is what I do. Because usually people, especially if they're an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, coach, whatever, list goes on, they have this value that they're like, oh my gosh, the gold that I drop, my brain gems, right? We're bringing it back, is worth your husband now needs to listen to this episode. My brain gems are worth like millions of dollars, like maybe 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures. You're like, it's so much value that I drop in what I deliver. But my revenue is lower, right? Like my revenue is maybe like few $1,000, up to 6 figures or something along those lines. And so there's usually this gap. And what I would do in my talk is I would let people know like there's this gap. And by the way, it's not your fault, because in order to make massive amounts of money, it's a skill, right? It's no different than riding a bike, swimming, skiing, snowboarding, like basketball. It's like, it's all skills that need to be developed. So if nobody taught you how to make massive amounts of money, it's not your fault, right? But because it's a skill, you can learn it and apply it. And when you do, you can close that gap. You can raise what you're bringing in to match your value, right? And so like, if I can tell people that in my talk and then talk through some of the ways, and then basically I'm like, and this is how, like, I work with people to help them do this. Tell me how many people aren't, it's because I got in their shoes. How many people are like, yeah, I have so much value.
I am sitting here like, yes. And are you going to tell me? I got my notebook out. What are we doing next? How much does it cost? Is it a 12-month program? I am in.
Right? And like, that's what people have to do. They have to figure out what's their version of that, right? Like you could do it in anything, really, relationships. It's like, because I'm single and like, I have so many people that are like, why are you single? And I'm like,
I didn't want to ask that cliche question, but it was a genuine.
No, it's a genuine question. It's a thought, because people are like, you're great. Why are you single? And I'm like, well, I just want to start sending this Instagram video that I found of this guy who's like puts this, like, has all these pebbles and then takes away like the folks that, wouldn't be a good match for whatever reason. Like, you want kids, they don't want kids, or this or the other. And then there's a bunch left, and it looks like there's a lot. And then he takes the map of the whole world and drops it, and there's like a few.
There's like one person in the United States and on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
Yep, that makes
And I'm like, and then I start laughing. I'm like, yep, yeah, that sounds about right. Because also, I think this is a very side tangent, but for anybody else who's single, you may resonate with this. I don't know who raised some of these people, but like, I'm like, who's your mama? How do you communicate with people like this? I tell my friends' husbands, they're like, that really happened. I'm like, yeah. They're like, who are these people? I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know. But
There's
people
no
are
home
bold.
training anymore. I don't know where it went, and I don't even wanna bring their mamas into this because they grown now.
They are.
Their mamas might have done a great job, and they just decided to throw all of it out of the window.
True story. They're like, you know what, mama? I know you raised me right, but I decided that if I just ask a number of women to sleep with me without taking them out on a date in much cruder terms than I'm using, somebody will bite. I'll just spread that to everybody. I literally have
They
looked
are
at
the
my
bro marketers of dating apps, is that
yeah, but
what it is? Is that what it is? That's what it sounds like to me.
oh my God, bro marketing has entered the dating world. All right, if you're a dating coach, please use this.
Yeah.
We're giving you great marketing language.
The brain gems we are giving you.
How many points, Jim?
Oh my god. Okay, so right now, just this section of this episode is 19 minutes and 7 seconds. If you guys have been listening to this season so far, my goal has been a 15-minute episode. I have yet to record a 15-minute episode. This one is the longest so far. Um, but you have so much left to talk about, but we can't possibly, even if I had 3 hours, right? What is like Jerry Springer? What are your final thoughts, Nikki Nash?
You are not the father. No, I'm just kidding.
I bet that those dudes, those bro marketers on the dating app would love to hear that.
Yeah, they're like, phew, thank goodness. Ah. But I think like just the main things is that during the talk, if you want to have people kind of come to you at the end and buy something, there are a couple of things that are needed, right? You need to hook them really compellingly in the beginning. Throughout, you need to speak to like their pain or their desires or something or their wants, really their wants, right? You need to have them have an aha moment or a heck yeah moment. Like they need to connect emotionally in some way, shape, or form. And then there needs to be value. They need to walk away with like they learned something so that they're like, oh my gosh, you gave me some nuggets already in a short period of time. I know you have so much more. I need to learn more. I need to talk to you. I need to work with you, something. Right. And then your call to action needs to be one call to action that's very clear and specific. Right. Like, DM me this and I'll send you this free thing. Right. Or go to the back of the room if you want this course. I'll sign you up. Right. Or send me a DM if you want to get on the phone to work with me. Whatever it is, choose something. Make it clear, simple, specific. And depending on if you can sell directly from the stage or if it's more of a give value type of conference, you can two-step it, right? Like give them something for free that they have to sign up for and then eventually get them on the phone. But you have to be really clear as to what your call to action is and then build everything out from that point.
Well, clearly you are a master at this because I want to buy whatever you're selling and I don't even really know what it is. And you gave yourself a segue to giving us your clear call to action. Nikki Nash, where can people find you? What's the next step? What can they do with you?
Yeah, I love it. So there's actually, I'm going to do this because it's not what I was originally going to say, but I actually think it would be incredibly valuable for folks. So my mentor actually has a university where like the things that he's taught me it's online, right? Like he's done it online. Now, full transparency, this course, not the course, like the online school, it's like I think a year or 2 years long and it's like a pretty penny. However, he's done so well in his life that his big thing is like I want to philanthropically give back. So like he has a scholarship fund for folks. And then he also has other organizations that have created scholarship funds for this university. Um, and if folks would like a scholarship to learn, how do you actually like increase their wealth position? send me a DM on Instagram. Just say like, hey, I listened to you on the podcast. I want to learn about the scholarship. You could even just DM me the word scholarship, right? And I will talk to you about how that works. I think there's like a registration fee that's nominal, but outside of that, like the whole tuition is covered.
I just DM'd you.
Episode hasn't aired yet. First scholarship for the win.
Hey, look, I do this podcast for free, y'all. If I'm going to get something out of it, I'm going to get the first scholarship. I'm sure there's other scholarships available. Anyways, Nikki, this has been an utmost joy. I didn't even know how much I needed you in my life today. This has been amazing. Thank you for being here and giving me the laughter and the knowledge. And I don't know whether you know you do this, and you might know that you do this, but you exude hope. You are a hope bringer. You let people see what is possible with such ease and grace in capacity to handling the next level that it is a blessing to be around you. So I really appreciate you for being on the show.
Oh my God, thank you so much. That you just made my day. So I really appreciate that. We're like win-win-winning over here. I love it.
Win-win-winning. That's what the name of this episode is going to be. Win-win-win with Nikki Nash.
Nikki Nash. And then the description could be get massive brain gems.
That just wrote itself, didn't it? All right. Well, I have to stop. I have to press the stop recording button now at some point in time. But thank you so much, Nikki, for joining us here on the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast. It has been a joy. So clearly, I am not doing a great job with the whole 15-minute episode thing. However, I think that this was totally worth it. There's so much that I want to know and learn from Nikki that, it couldn't have been chalked into any length of an episode, I don't think. Because this episode, while it was disguised as how to make money as a speaker, was also, if you picked up on those clues, was just an episode on how to make money in general, using a lot of techniques that not a lot of people talk about. So if you are interested in making money, go ahead and DM Nikki. Don't be scared. Do it, because she could help you not just make money from the stage, but become someone who is wealthy. I have something on my desk that says, I am one of the rich people, because often my own mindset is constantly getting in the way and telling me, oh, I can't make money this way. I can't make money that way, or I'm going to scrimp and save, or just make ends meet, or I should be blessed and grateful for what I have, or blah, 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 blah. But when I sit down and really own what I want and who I am, I'm one of the rich people. I just need my bank account to match. It's a minor inconvenience. And maybe Nikki can get me there, and maybe Nikki can get you there. So I encourage you to DM her, re-listen to this episode to pick up on all of the, brain gems that she is dropping, and like and subscribe to this episode, because then we can keep bringing you more people that are great and wonderful, just like Nikki. Until next time, this is the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast. I am Alea Harris, and I'm sending you lots of love, light, and abundance, _ on the abundance. All right. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Flourishing Entrepreneur Podcast with Alea Harris. Vibing with what you hear? Leave a 5-star review to spread the love, and be sure to click subscribe. We wish you love, light, and abundance. See you next time.